Hello out there, and welcome back to Everything You Need to Know About Mage Knight board game. This is part 23, and as you can see, the game area is all set up. This is exactly the way it should look at the beginning of your game. You notice that we have our map set up with Erythia, and we have tiles 1 and 2 already out. We have our mana bank over here. We have our tile deck, our extra mana dice. We have our spell offer already out. We have our spell cards, wound cards, and artifacts. Our fame and reputation set up with 2 shield tokens at 0. We have all of our enemies. We have our advanced action deck with our advanced action offer. In the full game we're going to be using all 28 advanced actions. We have 3 units because this is a solitaire game, so there's 1 unit for the solitaire player plus 2 more. And we have 3 mana dice, which are already rolled. Except I do need to flip this over. That's okay. We'll just roll them again. We have round order tokens here. You'll notice there are 2 round order tokens for Erythia and Tovak. I'll explain that in a second. We have our cities and our city cards over there. We have not just the regular unit deck, but the elite deck as well. And we have this player area all set up for Erythia to play. This is the solitaire player right here. Now over here, we have Tovak. Well, sort of. We have his hero card, his skill description card, we have his deed deck, all 10 of his skills, and we have 3 crystals here. Now you remember before I said that each Mage Knight has a favorite color and a second favorite color. Tovak's favorite color obviously is blue, his second favorite color is red. And if you look very closely, you can see these 3 red pips down here at the bottom of the card to remind you of that. That's very useful if you're trying to decide what color crystals or cards to get. But it's also good as a dummy player, and that's what Tovak is here. He's the dummy player. As the solitaire player takes his turn, the dummy player is also going to get a turn as well. And this is a timer to determine when the round ends. By the way, in a multiplayer game, the way the round ends is after you're out of cards, all your cards have been discarded, and your deed deck is empty. If you have cards in your hand at the start of your turn, you may declare the end of the round. If you do, you forfeit your turn, you turn your round order token face down, and you pass on to the next player. Everybody else gets 1 more turn, and then the round ends. If your deed deck is empty, and you have no cards in your hand, you must declare the end of the round. So let's look at how we process the dummy player. The last thing you do after you've drawn your cards, when you're ready to play, is you choose a tactic. So I've looked at my starting hand. I'm going to choose Great Start. Because I didn't quite get what I want, I'd like to have 2 more cards in my opening hand. Great Start is number 5. I'll set that aside. I'll shuffle these up a little bit. Get these randomized. And now I'm going to pick a tactic at random for the dummy player. I'll pick this card. Dummy player got Mana Steal. Now this tactic is not important. What is important is that it's number 3. Remember, I got number 5. So the dummy player goes first. He's number 3, I'm number 5. I'm going to switch these round order tokens here. So now the dummy player is going to go first. What the dummy player does on his turn is he turns over 3 cards. Remember, there's an advanced action deck of 16 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay. The 3rd card he turned over happens to be blue. He has 2 blue crystals in his inventory. So I'm going to turn over 2 more cards. 1, 2, and that's it. The dummy player's turn is processed. If I turned over a red card as my 3rd card, I would only turn over a 4th card, 1 more card. If I turned over a white or a green card, I would stop at 3 cards. What's going to happen is eventually, after about 5 or 6, maybe 7 turns, the dummy player is going to be out of cards. When the dummy player's turn begins, and his deed deck is empty, he declares the end of the round. I get 1 more turn, and then the round is over. I flip over the day-night board, re-roll the mana dice, I replenish the spell offer and the advanced action offer, as well as the unit offer, flip any unit tokens, any skill tokens, shuffle my deck, and start a new round. I'll also take the night tactics and draw those again, and we'll process the dummy player the same way. Now, in a solitaire game, when you replenish the advanced action offer and the spell offer, you do something a little bit different. I said before that you will take the bottom card and you'll shift the other two down and then add a new advanced action to the top. And you'll do the same thing with the spell deck. You'll take the bottom card from the spell offer, put it at the bottom of the spell deck, and move these two cards down. Then you'll take the top card of the spell offer, or spell deck, and flip it over, and that'll be your new offer. So you're going to keep the top two cards, but you're going to replace the bottom card with a new card. Same thing here. Well, in a solitaire game, it's a little bit different. You're going to take the bottom card for the advanced action offer, and instead of putting it at the bottom of the deck, you're going to put it in the dummy player's deed deck. So, for example, this happens to be a white card. Okay, this is going to get shuffled in. So the dummy player now has one more card in his deck. So perhaps it'll be a little bit of a longer round. However, in the spell offer, you're going to take the bottom card of the spell deck, or spell offer. You're not going to put it in the deck, but what you are going to do is take a crystal of this color, in this case a red crystal, and you're going to add this to his inventory. This speeds him up because what's going to happen is when he turns over a red card as his third card, instead of turning over a fourth card, he's going to turn over a fourth and a fifth card. So this is speeding him up. The advanced actions are slowing him down, but the spells are speeding him up. And if you get an advanced action and a spell of the same color, it's going to actually accelerate him. If you get an advanced action of a color he doesn't have in his inventory, that's going to slow him down because he's more likely to get that card or that color. That's the way the dummy player works. In addition to that, when you level up, remember we have this common skills offer over here. You're going to flip your top two skills up, you're going to choose one, and you're going to put the other one in the common skills offer. Now in a solitaire game, this just means you've discarded it. You're not going to be able to use that skill during this game because you chose this skill. At the same time, you're going to take the top skill from Tovok's deck, and you're going to put that in the common skills offer. Now the next time you level up, you'll take your top two skills. You can choose one of them, or you can choose the one that Tovok discarded that's in the common skills offer. And again, if you take Tovok's skill, you're only allowed to take the bottom advanced action from the advanced actions offer. Whereas if you choose one of your own skills, you can take any of the three cards in the advanced actions offer. And that's pretty much everything you need to know. The map is all set up, the orc tokens are face up, and once you've got your tactics, you're all ready to play. One last thing I wanted to show about resistances. I'm going to choose this enemy token for an example here. If you face the Amatemp Gunners, as you can see they have ice resistance. You know that means that you can use ice attack against these guys. But because they have ice resistance, every 2 points of ice attack is only going to count as 1 point of attack. So you would need, if you just used ice attack, you would need 12 points of attack instead of 6. Whereas if you had fire attack or cold fire attack, you'd only need 6 points. But if you're using ice attack, you'd need 12. Okay. In addition to that, if you were to play a blue card against these guys, and it had some special tactics on here. For example, this one says Ice Block 3, which is good, because he's hitting you with a fire attack of 6, so you need Ice Block. So you probably play Ice Shield against these guys. Ice Block 3 would block 3 of the 6 points of this attack. Now he's only hitting you with a fire attack of 3, which means if you have 6 points of block, you can block this, or 6 points of fire block. Or if you have 3 more points of ice block, you can block this completely. Okay? But notice what else it says here. It says, reduce the armor of one enemy blocked this way by 3. Armor cannot be reduced below 1. So that means that after you've blocked this successfully, you would then reduce this unit's armor. The problem is that you can't use any special abilities on a blue card against an enemy that has ice resistance. In the same way you wouldn't be able to use a special ability on a red card against an enemy with fire resistance. It says Ice Block 3. You still get the Ice Block 3. Okay? In fact, you wouldn't even need to charge this with blue mana because you get Ice Block 3 regardless of which effect you use. You wouldn't be able to get this special ability, though. If it says target enemy loses all resistances or destroy target enemy, if that comes from a blue card, it doesn't apply to an enemy with ice resistance. And if it comes on a red card, it doesn't apply to an enemy with fire resistance. In addition to that, if you have a unit, this unit says attack or block 5. No problem. You just take your command token to activate it, and you say, I hit this guy for block 5. Which, along with Ice Shield, by the way, would almost be enough. This would actually only do 2 block against these guys, because block 5 would be inefficient, but it has Ice Block 5. So you'd only need to play 2 cards sideways, or block 2, and you'd be able to block this enemy. However, its other ability says target enemy does not attack this combat, and it gets armor -3 to a minimum of 1. What that means is when you activate this with blue mana, this brutal fire attack of 6 doesn't happen, and his armor is now 3 with ice resistance. However, since you used a unit and activated it with blue mana for that ability, you can't use that against an enemy with ice resistance. You also can't activate a unit with red mana against an enemy with fire resistance. You can attack and you can block, but you can't use these special effects here. So that's just a little more about resistance. I think for the most part, that was pretty clear, but that's the only special part. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is look at a full game, a complete conquest. We're going to look at the various scenarios. We're going to go over rules again, make sure that they're completely understood about leveling up and about playing your turn and about how the round works. But that's everything you need to know to get started on the first reconnaissance. You're going to play this mission. You notice that we have our 8 countryside tiles. We have 1 and 2 here, and we have the other 6 here. You're going to explore those, and then you'll have 3 core tiles. One of those 3 core tiles is the city. And so when you discover the city, the dummy player gets 1 more turn, and then you get 1 more turn, and then the game is over. And then what you do is take your achievement bonuses, which are here in your site description cards. Go ahead and count your spells and your advanced actions and your artifacts and how many pairs of crystals you have in your inventory. Add up the total levels of all your units, remembering to have any units that are wounded and round down if that doesn't come out evenly. Give yourself 2 points of fame for each monastery you've burned down, each keep and mage tower that you've conquered, and give yourself 2 points for every monster den, spawning ground, dungeon, tomb, and ancient ruins that you've explored, and have a shield token on. And remember to reduce 2 points of fame for each wound in your hand. Okay? You're not going to assign titles here because you're the only one playing, but you do get bonus points for these and you do lose fame for this. That's going to be it for the training scenario. So we're going to come back, go ahead and get started, try the scenario out, teach other people if you want to. Obviously it's not going to take you 22 videos or 23 videos to do it. I went into detail because I wanted you to learn everything you need to know about Mage Knight board game and didn't want to leave a single detail out. So thank you so much for your patience and thanks for watching. The next videos will be dealing with the rule book and the full game. Until next time, GLHF. Good luck, have fun.